There are a couple things to keep in mind when working on the 9-10 high school solo for NCMEA. The first is to make sure that you're paying attention to the dynamics. Sometimes they're a little bit not what you would expect, and sometimes you need to add in some dynamic ideas of your own. For example, the opening is marked mezzo forte, and there's no change for the first 7.5 measures. However, in measure 5, there's a major change in style. So I like to play that section a little quieter and then build again to the crescendo in measure 8. And then that sets you up for a subito piano in measure 9, which doesn't say there's a stylistic change, but now you have staccato notes and it's piano. So I think of that section as a little more leggero. So something that's really going to bring this etude alive is if you can play with a lot of character and a lot of imagination. It's almost kind of, it's like a dialogue between 2 or even 3 people where every person has a different character in the music, and as much contrast as you can make between them, you can have a more dynamic performance. So for example, the character in measure 5, to me is a little more pensive. Whereas before that, in measure 3, you're a little more extroverted or a little more outgoing. So if you can really embody that character shift, it will make your performance that much more engaging. And then, like I said, in measure 9, it's like a different character who's maybe tiptoeing. And so on. So you can find as many different character changes as you want, and that will help you create a phrasing and a plan that is engaging for your audience. Another thing to think about is that the subdivision is changing a lot in this piece. We go from 8ths and 16ths to triplets, sometimes back to back. So one good rule of thumb is to always be subdividing the rhythm that is coming up. So for example, if you have 16th notes coming up, subdivide 16th notes. But if you have triplets coming up, subdivide triplets. And sometimes you don't have time to do that. So in measure 3, you've got 8ths and then triplets. So I would practice playing from 8ths to triplets. For example, and this will help you in measure 11 as well, where you go from 8th notes to triplets, and also in measure 14. There are some spots, though, where you get time to make the subdivision. So, for example, at the end of this first section, in measure 19, you can subdivide 16th notes on your D. And switch to triplets in measure 20. And that will set you up, then, if you're taking the second ending, for the triplets that continue in measure 25. So it's important to remember to practice the way you're going to perform and to always have fun.